comeback that everybody wanted.
Johanna is down, so is Uther.
Hitting 3 targets, taking all 3 of them out. Final shot in his face. That's going to be game 2. Well, they tried to pick a fight, but I feel like they're regretting it right now.
This is not the comeback that everybody wanted.
Good morning, Las Vegas. Welcome back to day 2 of the Heroes of the Storm America's Championship. Today is the day of reckoning for our teams, as 2 and only 2 teams will be moving on to, of course, the World Championship at BlizzCon.
I'm Anna Prosser-Robinson, and next to me, of course, is William Cho, and we are coming to you live from the Las Vegas Convention Center, where our final 6 teams are waiting impatiently backstage to get their chance to do battle for those 2 spots at the Heroes of the Storm World Championship.
That's right, there's a lot going on. Today's winners will travel to Anaheim, California to join the other champions from around the world, including China, Korea, Taiwan, and Europe, to do battle for the title, to become the Heroes of the Storm Ultimate Champion. And with that, what follows is, of course, their share of the $500,000, excuse me, it's a little bigger than that, prize pool, and of course, to be left in BlizzCon history.
Absolutely, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, because the teams still have to come out victorious in today's tournament, and that is no easy task. We saw some epic battles yesterday. The nerd chills and the hype trains were just chilling and chewing their way through our hearts, and I expect nothing less today.
I think that's an excellent way to put it, Anna, and today we have something unique where the winners of the semifinals will have a final matchup. Just because they get to go to BlizzCon doesn't mean their path is over, because they also want to see who's the best in the America's Heroes of the Storm Championship. And they get to walk away with their part of, this time, a $200,000 prize pool and the bragging rights to say, look, we were the best in the Americas.
Absolutely. So what do you say? Shall we let the battles begin? To guide us through them with the dulcet tones of their fantastic voices are our world-class commentators. Are you guys ready up there?
We sure are, Anna. Thank you very much. Welcome, guys, to the America's Championship. We're all here to bring you all the action and make sure that you see all the non-stop brawling that will happen during the day. Now, remember, 2 teams will be moving forward to BlizzCon 2015 at the beginning of November, so we'll make sure that we capture every single moment for you. Now, with me today casting is going to be the wonderful Gillyweed. Gilly, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. I'm so excited that we get to be Tricklyweed once more here today. And also joining us at the desk is our analyst. We have Corey Kubi-Haver.
That's right, back once more on the analyst side. We know that these teams have been really hiding some strategies going in today, because this is really what it all comes down to. So I'm going to be here to break it down for you guys. But if you guys weren't able to catch up with us yesterday, we've got you covered with a highlight reel from yesterday's action.
We are coming to you live from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, and the Heroes of the Storm America's Championship.
These teams, they've been going at it all summer in a number of tournaments. And now the top 2 teams from this competition will be moving on to BlizzCon.
Game number 1, Furious Gaming against compLexity. As the fight continues right now, compLexity controlling the bottom tower.
It looks like right now we do have March of the Black King going through everyone. In the meantime, Sonya Way on the other side does get taken out there by Arthas. Well done by compLexity. GG. Oh, this should be the last battle of the game. We do have Divine Shield going down. Nubarak, he is diving in once again.
That will be the end of this series. GG.
They're looking like they're ready to win this tournament, Jake. Tempo Storm doing a great job. Ahmad does catch a couple of them. Mad Timmy, the only one left. He does fall as well, and Tempo Storm has eliminated everyone.
It looks like Tempo Storm is going to take game number 1. GG!
These teams are fighting for their lives. They want to represent their respective regions. They want to go to BlizzCon.
One of the big matches, Cloud9 looking to be the favorite. Immunity trying to challenge us. Let's get some noise in here.
Just barely getting out of there, dodging the Howling Blast, but the Giants and Web Reavers are really shredding through these walls. The combo from Kerrigan, just barely, not enough. The Death Coil does get the kill. Game number 1 goes to Cloud9 in decisive fashion. GG!
Cloud9 moving into this series. They know they want to qualify for BlizzCon.
This is the hottest rivalry of the Heroes of the Storm America's Championship.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to stop Tempo Storm. Everyone was talking about, oh, maybe they're a little bit complacent.
So excited to get this started. And it's got to be Abathur. Cool.
Wow. Taking a lot of damage at the moment and does go down.
Wait, he actually manages to get over there and
Just
come
in
in
time.
now. Beautiful play as the Dragon Knight now pushes forward into the mid lane.
Tempo Storm just targeting down this core. It doesn't look like there's enough damage to stop him.
And it looks like game number 1 is going to go to Tempo Storm as the core goes down. GG!
Wow. What a game.
What is this now? 45-1 for Tempo Storm? I don't even know that. I don't know the percent of that, guys. What is it, like 98%?
Kind of leaning a little bit towards complexity.
All right, Howling Blast was whipped here, and that's a lot of damage going up on Hospital. He will end up falling very quickly in this fight. This is pretty much an impossible defense on the side of complexity. Will Cattle be as lucky? I don't think so, Gilly.
Think we will see Cognitive moving out of this group, moving on into the final 4 teams in the America's Championship.
Congratulations to Tempo Storm and Cognitive, who will be moving on.
We will see which teams rise and which teams fall, and who will be our final 2 America's teams that will be heading to BlizzCon and the Heroes of the Storm World Championship.
Wow, you almost forget how many epic matches we had yesterday. That highlight reel definitely helping me out. Before we jump in, I just want to know, you guys, what was your favorite moment yesterday? Gilly?
Oh, hands down, that last match between Cognitive and Complexity, but definitely when Complexity brought it back in game 2 with that crazy Azmodan play. That was just nuts to see it pushing Azmodan. What about you, Kubi?
I have to say, it's got to be that Karazim play from Relics. They had a near perfect draft going into it, countering that triple warrior strategy, and Zeys really doing an amazing job showing how to play Karazim. I hope we get to see more of him today.
Can't
To find
go
out a
wrong with
little
those
bit
picks.
more about how these guys got to this place, we are going to take a look at the competition overview, starting off with the open tournaments that have been held through June, July, and August, and moving into where we are right now, the America's Championship. We're going to have 2 teams moving on from this to the World Championship at BlizzCon 2015.
And here we can see where we are right now. It is the America's Championship, and our 8 teams that did start out yesterday, we have 5 that made it through the different North American Opens. We had 3 of them in June, July, and August, and they're joined by 1 team representing Southeast Asia, 1 team from Latin America, and 1 representing Australia and New Zealand. But only 2 teams from today can move on to the Heroes of the Storm World
That is
Championship.
very true, Gilly. Over 60 teams have competed to get to BlizzCon to compete for that $1.2 million prize pool. And you can see here, 2 teams from Taiwan, China, America's Championship, Europe Championship, and Korea Championship will all be there at the beginning of November. It will be epic, and we can't wait to get there. But of course, we got to watch the awesome matches to see who's going to go.
All right, to cover the format of this tournament, if you guys caught this yesterday, we'll go through it once more. We do have all 8 teams split up into 2 double elimination brackets. We're gonna have 2 teams from each of those groups advancing to a final 4. And we can see in Group A, Tempo Storm has secured that spot. Over in Group B, Cognitive with some amazing play in a close series versus Complexity will find themselves advancing to that. But we gotta find out in just a moment between Relics and Complexity who will be taking spot in that top 4 bracket.
And to introduce our players, it'll be our amazing hosts, Chobra and Anna. Please, let's go down to the desk.
Thanks, guys. Chobra, there is so much on the line in this match. There is so much pressure because not only are these teams fighting for their tournament lives, but then if they win this match, they go on to face Tempo Storm.
Exactly. So it's still going to be a hard, long-fought battle if they want to secure that spot at BlizzCon. But again, it still starts here on day 2 of the Heroes of the Storm America's Championship.
Both of these teams are coming out of a little bit of struggle. You know, they're fighting, like I said, again, for their tournament lives. So they've got to get their mindset right. And this team that I get to introduce really has quite a following behind them because they are the sole representatives from their region. Coming to you from Singapore, it's our blue team, Relics.
And their opponent, I have to agree with Gilly on this one. They showed a fantastic match yesterday and just so close to securing that winning spot in their group. In Group B, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me, compLexity. This matchup, we already talked about it a little bit, but now that we have the teams both on stage, Anna, it's hard to choose sides, I think, for anyone on the audience, because both of them played their hearts out yesterday.
I agree, and I think it's so exciting to wonder what they're going to bring to the table that is new, because we have seen heroes being picked that we did not expect. We've seen strategies tried that we did not expect, and this is the place where it really matters. So I think we will see a lot of that. Guys up at the commentator desk, you're going to take us there, right?
We sure will, Anna. Relics versus compLexity is going to be a hype match. I can't wait to start it. We had amazing matches from both teams. And by the way, both teams were knocked down into the lower brackets by Cognitive Gaming. So they definitely want to get that revenge. They have to get through this match, though, to do so.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and it's going to be a tough match for both of them, I think, because both of them were knocked down, so they're going to need to be in the right mindset, realizing that, yes, we did get knocked down, but we still have another chance to take a deep breath, get ready, because both are going to be aggressive and ready to try to take the other one out.
Kubi, you were talking about the Relics and their Kerosene pick yesterday and how well they can pull it off. You think they're going to do it today?
Yeah, I think really the big thing to talk about this matchup is it's a flexibility matchup. Both of these teams, when they've been moving through the qualifiers, really have shown a lot of different strategies that they can pull out to the field. Triple warriors, playing Rexar to a really good degree. So I'm excited to see what they throw at each other, how they adapt, because their drafting has been very, very good in all the series that they have played.
Yeah, I love how they can adapt. And the heroes, or the team that I'm looking at as well here, is compLexity. Yesterday, towards the end of the night, they had a series that was pretty close, but there were a couple flubs here and there, and they looked a little bit tired, maybe a little bit off. I talked to them this morning, and they mentioned that the draft wasn't exactly what they wanted. Coming in after a night of rest could be very, very beneficial for this team. This team is very, very solid. They're so flexible, they can make anything work for them, and I think it's important that they are that flexible against the Relics, because Relics can adapt like no other.
Indeed, they really can adapt, and they also have a lot of strategies that compLexity might not be ready for because they are from a different region. But here we do see compLexity. I wanted to point out that Blinks has said before that Cattlepillar's shot calling and his ability to process all of the information that they're feeding to him into a game is really what is the key to their success. So they'll definitely need to be on point for that when facing this team right here, Relics.
Yes, Relics. And I was actually talking to Babel. You know, he's good friends with these guys, of course, being from Singapore as well. And he said that they learned a lot from yesterday's games. They were kind of blindsided by that no warrior composition coming out of Cognitive. And
who wasn't?
I know, right? And watching compLexity's play yesterday, they learned so much. And he said it really just kind of opened their eyes. And they really feel as though that they're going to be a lot more flexible today going into this series to qualify for that top 4.
Okay, as always, we want you to be a part of the conversation. Follow us at Esports Heroes and use the hashtag HeroesWC to vote for the team that you believe is going to win. Gotta find out all that information. You know, people have been talking about it. Gilly, I want your prediction. Who's gonna win this match?
I think it's going to be compLexity.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm feeling it, but I think it's going to be a close one. What about you, Kubi?
I really feel like the flexibility we saw out of Relics yesterday, you know, they won me over, honestly, especially with that Karazim play, just really nice play all over, just, you know, the three warriors going into it, and just being able to shut down the other strategies of the teams completely. I think I'm going to edge for him here.
All right, we're getting close to the draft, but before we go in, we would love to thank our sponsors, NVIDIA, Tostinos, and as well the amazing Gigabyte. So thank you for all the support. With that, it looks like we're ready for the draft. Let's go in and find out who is getting picked up for our teams.
We will be on Cursed Hollow for game number 1 between Relics and compLexity. So we're going to be looking at a lot of rotations and making sure they can control those tribute pickups.
Yeah, Cursed Hollow, a very large map. And when we did talk to Relics, they said they're very comfortable with that sort of late game passive style. And they know that they're going to really do a lot to get and secure that split push if they can get it.
Jaina's a really good ban here, with the battleground being Cursed Hollow. We've seen her as a first pick, as you mentioned, Gilly, but also she's very good at the poking situation that you need to have around those tributes. So Zeratul will be the follow-up ban here for compLexity. A majority of teams just don't want to play against him.
Absolutely. Void Prison can be a game changer and can change any fight regardless of how far behind you are. So it makes a lot of sense to take him out here, not wanting to deal with him. I mean, compLexity, they have Jaximus. They know how much of a tool Zeratul is.
Absolutely. So there's the Abathur. Okay, maybe the start of things to come with that split pushing. There's so many different ways that you can play with Abathur, whether they want to run Illidan, throw it on those warriors just to make them even more of a bully in lane. We'll have to see what they take with this.
Wow, Relics picking up Abathur is very surprising to me as their first pick, at least for Cursed Hollow. Now, to be fair, Cursed Hollow, Infernal Shrines, and probably Garden of Terror are the maps, or Sky Temple as well, are the maps that you want to pick up Abathur, but you usually see him around 3rd or 4th pick. Taking him early is a big indication of what exactly Relics want to do. Here we go, compLexity following up.
It's a big denial pick, I think, is the big thing. Really, they know the compLexity likes to play this hero a lot, so I like that they're going to grab this first to try to shut down those strategies.
Right, in compLexity, they have an early pickup of Arthas, but they've been showing that they really, really want Arthas, so it makes a lot of sense. Plus, we've seen Abathur and Arthas together. 2 Arthases can really control the tide of a battle, so they're also going to follow that up with Uther.
Yeah, talking to a lot of teams, Arthas for them in the early game is pretty easy to pull off. You can get to the mid game pretty safely if you're doing some nice rotations, and he can also sit in a lane if he needs to, so he's just a great foundation for your team. And then, of course, Uther. Everyone's loving Uther right now. The Divine Shield, the Burst Heals, they allow you to pull off so many compositions that you can't quite do with other supports.
Yeah, almost makes the rest of that draft completely unpredictable. Are they going to go for those melees? Are they going to just go for more passive style, grab the warriors? They have so many opportunities with this.
Now, Relics have Johanna, but I'm wondering if maybe this won't be the first warrior we see, as we know they like to play that Sonya, and I think everyone would like to see a, aww.
Can't go wrong with the leap, but Bala will be the choice here. And really, Relics seem to favor Bala a lot. And, you know, looking at the gameplay that we've been seeing from that team, why not, man? They're always on point. It's never a situation where Bala is really throwing the game for the team. So get a strong foundation, have Johanna tank for you, and move in. Especially with the attack speed from Abathur, Bala can put out a lot of damage very quickly against a hero like Arthas.
For sure. We saw Relics actually picking up a Bala very early in their drafts yesterday, so they are showing that they feel incredibly comfortable on this hero. And like you mentioned, Trick, there's a lot of consistent damage output, and she's a very safe hero to grab. So we're going to move into the next set of bans. Illidan gets taken out, and actually Relics is banning out Sylvanas, which I find very interesting considering we know that they like that late game push, split push style.
Yeah, Sylvanas and Abathur is a little bit, I think, too all in with the split pushing, so they just decide, you know what, we're going to ban out Sylvanas so we don't have anything to push back. So that leaves compLexity with different options. Either A, they go for hard engagements like a Tyrael, or potentially they have some kind of global soak like a Brightwing that could be possible. I think a lot of teams are trying to find out that Brightwing is certainly a viable hero in certain situations.
What's interesting to me is we have not yet seen a Leoric in any capacity here, as compLexity are going to pick up Tyrande, and they have fantastic Tyrande play, so I'm really pumped about this. But also Arthas, Uther, Tyrande, this looks aggressive to me, and I'm really, really crossing my fingers. Maybe a Kerrigan, that would be pretty cool.
So it's a great roam squad, and for the reason you guys can see Tyrande's kit, it's got to do with, one, the Hunter's Mark, that trait really amplifying the damage that that target receives, and also the Lunar Flare allows you to follow up those stuns that Arthas is looking to land.
Gotta agree with you. The question is, why is Leoric still floating around? I believe compLexity might want to go with it here, because we've seen Leoric and Arthas a combo so well together, and actually there it is. There is Leoric pick. We're gonna need a major damage pickup here for the 5th hero for compLexity. While Leoric and Arthas can put out decent damage, they are melee, so it's a hard time for them to get the engage. So they're gonna have to rely on amazing Lunar Flares from the Tyrande player. Right now, it's on Relics.
They definitely can provide those amazing lunar flares, but yes, we do have Leoric finally picked up, and it was so interesting to me just because he does have such good of wave clear, which is very, very nice since this is such a big battleground. But now Relics have their last 2 pickups. We should be looking at a support for one of those here. Malfurion would be my best guess, because Relics really, really like him, but you mentioned their Karazim play, and there are 2 warriors here sitting on the side of complexity.
Yes, with the potential of a 3rd even, and complexity has shown that they can run that as well. So Relics, there's the Karazim once more. Zeys is going to be hopping on that hero. Made some incredible plays yesterday. I'm so excited to see this.
And why not? This is a perfect composition for Relics to actually pick up Karazim because of Arthas, because of Leoric, 2 heroes that are very high in health. Remember, it's 49% of a health pool. It's percent-based, how you're going to take out people. And that's why you see Leoric or Arthas getting blown up in fights. So beautiful pickup here from the Relics. Why not play something you're comfortable? Today, you have to pull all the cards to get to BlizzCon.
You really do, and that final card will be a Nubarak. So they're going to have a Nubarak and Abathur. They've got lots of bugs coming into the battle between the Beetles and the Locusts here. Now complexity have one last pickup. We know it will be damage. What kind of damage will they be putting out? Do you think it's going to be Rexar now looking at Karazim?
No, there's no way that they could try to pull that. They saw what happened to Furious Gaming yesterday. Kael'thas is actually still on the table. Okay, they're going to go with Raynor. No, this makes a lot more sense. I like this pick. Raynor, a great auto attack here. He can pick up that giant killer at level 13. Is going to, again, do that percent-based damage. And they're in the face of Johanna and Anubarak. It's going to really do a lot to take down those health pools. Big thing, we usually see Hyperion picked up as the heroic for Raynor. Does a great amount of pushing. And considering that they have Leoric as well with Tyrande, I mean, they can just roam around, especially. So many options available to complexity.
And they have the control and they have the AoE with Starfall from Tyrande, the 100 mark, the Hyperion as well, and Arthas and Leoric to control the fight to keep people in that Hyperion and all the area effect. They have a great composition that synergizes very, very well. And because Relics has to come to them because of tributes, they can totally pull off that combo pretty nicely. So it'll come down to how Relics get into the engagements and how they get to the back of Raynor. Because Raynor's very durable, he can knock people back. But if we can get Karazim to blow somebody up and they can take that fight and really move towards Raynor, it can be totally fine for Relics.
Now Trickster, I have talked about it before, but I don't think I've yet to see it this weekend. I want to see a Syndragosa into Hyperion because it is so absolutely fantastic. They could push down structures so fast. But it looks like we are ready for the game, so we'll see if they choose to go that route as we will head into game 1 between Relics and Complexity.
All right, game number 1 of the day. On the very far left, you have the Relics, the only regional team left out of North America in the America's Championship. Relyzer, Trinity, Mirr, Zeys, and Revenant now here trying to bring the damage on the other far side, the red team. Killy Bee.
All right, well, we have the red team with Jaximus playing Leoric, Hans on Tyrande, cattlepillar playing Arthas, Trummel playing Raynor, and playing Uther will be Blinks, making team Complexity.
All right, the bootstraps have begun. All 4 members down here in the bottom left, and you have the beautiful cattlepillar in the top right corner trying to maybe have a quick gank on that so we can have the members jump in. However, Relics are not fighting. We have members playing very defensively right now, and I think that's a major thing that the regional teams have learned in North America. In the very beginning of the game, they've been playing much more safer. They're used to aggressive strategies where they're from, but here you kind of have to change it up because there is a lot of rotation happening, especially with Arthas, Tyrande, and Leoric.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you see teams going straight for the mid like we saw Complexity do, try to clear that out as fast as possible and then rotate in, maybe even looking to pick somebody up. But if you're not feeling confident with that very, very early fight, then you do just start to split up in your lanes right away. You're already very ready for the soak as soon as minions come in. So that's why we saw Relics do that.
Abathur already showing he's going to be going the mine build here, just putting mines all over the place. That prevents a lot of the rotations that want to happen here. And so what Complexity does to change that up is they go to a different lane and they push it as hard as they can. If they can't rotate, go to a different area, do something else on the map.
Yeah, and they are looking to potentially pick up somebody who's out of position too because they do have the Tyrande. And the way that they've got their lane set up, they have Uther up top so that they could get another stun if they were able to find somebody out of position. Leoric, he has the skeletal swing so he can slow somebody down. And then, of course, Raynor and bottom can throw down a lot of damage too. So they have it set up in a way so that if Arthas and Tyrande do find somebody out of position, they have somebody in every single lane who can help them take that out.
Relics playing so safe here. First off, they have a Nubarak and the Monk Karazim up here, which are very hard to gank. Look at that, burrow charge right away. The moment that Blinks got a little aggressive in that lane, you saw a Nubarak pull back. He's reading his opponent. Great read, able to pull back, miss a little bit of experience, but you don't get taken down, which is more important there than trying to miss a wave.
I also really like the pickup at level 1 for Relics, is they've got the range on the Impale. A lot of times when you have that solo Anubarak as a support, you really have to take Region Master there, or as your warrior, because you really need him to be as tanky as possible. But because they have him with Johanna, they know that Johanna already is very, very tanky as is, so they can use him more as the utility getting into the back line. But Abathur here getting caught out by Fleeks. Uther-Abathur fights are very interesting, Trixler.
Poor Worm, dude. He just wants to get out there and get the body soak. Unfortunately, not able to do so. A beautiful scout here, though, by the way, from Hans. He's sent a Sentinel over there in the top left corner to watch out for the Giant. However, they were not able to intervene. But they do get a solid positioning here with the Tribute.
Absolutely. I think Relics were kind of hoping maybe for the bottom Tribute to spawn. That way they'd have Abathur and Giants pushing up here in top. As it is, they're not going to get as much done with that split push as it's right next to the Tribute. But we aren't really seeing now. Abathur, in fact, went down to the bottom to try to push. So that does force Raynor to stay there to make sure that he continues to get experience for his team.
So all Hans is going to do here is try and delay. Raynor is at the very bottom. Really, compLexity gets it if they can. They're going to grab the Tribute if they can get into a situation to do so. New York does transition up here, but it's not the end of the world if they do miss out on the Tribute. You're going to have Hans poking a little bit, Blinks as well. They have two supports with range abilities that are pretty easy to hit as their linear skill shots. So you're going to see them just delay as Raynor just tries to keep push Abathur in the bottom lane.
Yeah, New York actually even went back to mid, so you can tell compLexity have moved back. They're just throwing out what they can as delaying as long as possible.
Oh, wow.
Finally, it does get picked up right as the root hits, and Relics will be able to pick up the first Tribute of the game.
Just a smidgen late on that Howling Blast, and it will not be able to deny that Tribute. Now the question is, what does compLexity do from here? Do they transition down, grabbing Mercenary camps, get pressure in the middle lane? New York already in the middle lane, pushing as well. And what's very interesting to me is just how hardcore they're trying to push these lanes. Jaximus coming in with the body block. Can they get the Howling Blast? They do. A little bit of damage here. Mirr low on HP, but he's going to be taken down for the first kill of the game.
First blood going to compLexity. They picked up their level 7 talents on top of that suit, so their early soak of the lanes has really started to pay off as they're being able to pick that up. And I really like too, Hans, of course, really enjoys this Tyrande build, picking up the piercing Sentinel at level 4, and then later on following that up with Ranger too, so it'll do more damage. But that's also very good on this battleground in particular, because no matter what, you can't block that shot from stopping somebody from picking up the Tribute.
Oh, the legendary laner just pushing all day until he gets ganked. Trummel doing some juking and jiving, trying to get away. He does have the ability to heal here. Will he run away from the area? No, Trummel's gonna get picked off with the support of Abathur, and that will help the Relics get back in this game, because they are very behind in experience right now. One level behind. They tried to go heavily on the mercenary camps in the top left corner, and with the Johanna getting picked off, Abathur had to go soak that lane, which meant bottom lane was not getting soaked as Raynor pushed. And you see the results here as compLexity is nearly one level ahead.
Now we're also going to try to start working on the Anubarak, but he does have that symbiote on top of him, so it's going to be even more difficult to take him out. But at least, although Raynor was taken out, compLexity had the roam squad very close to that bottom lane, so they didn't miss out on any lane. So very good rotations coming out from compLexity in this early game. Nearly a full level lead so far already.
Yeah, right now it's all about the race to 10, right? Both teams have a Tribute, which means they can give up the next Tribute if they run into a situation where one member gets picked off. So compLexity might even give up the next Tribute. They'll do a little bit of harassment with the Tyrande and the Uther, but they might just move straight to level 10. That way they can do a power play on potentially a boss, or potentially pushing down a lane and getting a fort really quickly, especially if they take up that Hyperion.
Now, speaking of Raynor, I did want to mention, though, first of all, he's getting hit by Impale, but he does have a little bit of a build than we've seen in other games, as knowing that he is the very primary damage dealer, he has Season's Marksman, and then also got Revolution Overdrive. So he is getting more movement speed from that whenever he hits Inspire. That's going to help him escape this crazy amount of stuns that Relics do have.
Uther staying in the top lane, just trying to fight against Abathur here, and being level 10 compLexity, even though it is a potential 4v4 versus 4.5 with Abathur hat, they're going to walk up, grab this Tribute, because the Relics cannot contest this. If they lose a fight, they fall farther behind. The better play here is to let them have the second Tribute and fight for the next one when it's a third Tribute for compLexity.
Right. The unfortunate thing for them is that was in their safe area, so that would have been the nice one for Relics to grab, but compLexity having those heroic abilities, good job by Relics denying as long as possible the ability for compLexity to get the full lane soak, but they did have to give that one up for sure.
Just a really quick note out of nowhere, Relics actually has the Bijama skin on Abathur, which is the best skin in the game, so congratulations to him.
Even better than Funny Bunny Murphy?
A little bit better for sure. Jaximus getting some aggression here on Mirr. If he can hit the drain hope here, he'll start to drain some health. Knight's being picked up here in the middle lane. compLexity wants to get a little bit of pressure in that mid lane for when that third Tribute does spawn. It will be popping up very soon. At the same time though, I just want to commend Hans. he's been using Sentinel like crazy, always looking at map objectives. He just checked out the boss in the bottom left. Potentially that is a play that the Relics could have gone for, but he noticed that they are not there. That allows him to keep staying in lane and helping out Uther with the pushing in top lane.
I've said it before. Oh, seven-sided strike, and Leorg already feeling the brunt of that, but Strife also used here, so 2 heroics down. 3 heroics down, actually, as Blessed Shield was used, so that at least will be something that compLexity has going for them into the next tribute fight, but they did lose Leorg for it, and I don't think that's going to be the first or last time, well, it is the first, but the last time we see it.
Zeys is so surgical with Kerosene. We see it so many times. They blow up Leorg, because again, it's 49% of the health pool. All it's going to do is bring somebody down to help out in the fight, and suddenly there's no more Leorg. He goes back to his undead trait, starts floating around. However, Leorg will be available for this next fight. This is a 3rd tribute. compLexity would love to get this thing.
Absolutely, and Relics does not want that to happen because they will be cursed and it becomes much harder for them to come back into the game after they lose so many structures there. There is a small mercenary push here in the mid for compLexity, but looks like they're going for it. Lunar Flare goes on top of Revenant, and they'll be able to pick up the tribute right away.
It looks like he's going to get away the beautiful Nubrak, but it looks like Johanna is taking some damage down here. Balla on the bottom right does get obliterated. No, gets knocked back, actually is able to run away. That was actually the ultimate evolution from Abathur. Abathur almost caught there, but he's going to burrow away to the bottom lane, start soaking up. This fort, though, is in trouble. Nobody is here to defend it, and it's essentially free here for compLexity after a great team fight.
This is beautiful here for compLexity. They have nobody down, so they're able to push here. They've already taken out 1 fort, both lanes. The minions are already pushed hard, too, so compLexity have a lot of options here, and it looks like they could be either going for the bot fort or to try to pick up the boss, too, or even maybe potentially both, because Trinity has to get out of here. Will he get there in time? Callum's going for it!
Oh, he gets it! The worm is down now! The fort is going to get picked up in the bottom lane as well, but another engagement in the middle. 7-sided strike, punching a few people. There goes the Divine Shield, turning around here. Will Blinks go in? Jaximus trying to grab the mercenary camp. A little bit too slow there with the old achy legs, but Revenant is getting in. Get punched as well as the Nubrak finally being taken down. Another member running away as well, and the Relics, 3 members down right now with Abathur unable to support.
3 members down, and they were cursed now. That nobody even up top at all to defend the minion push versus that fort. compLexity feeling very confident, going to go ahead and pick up the boss on the side of Relics, knowing that there are still members down, and they picked up 13 talents. So sitting very, very pretty here in game number 1.
Keeping the momentum going. You do see the Relics trying to move down, but it's a little bit too late there. And now with this goal, I'm taking down the bottom left corner. There's 2 options here for compLexity. Do they push with it and try and get a wall, or do they move to the very top right corner and get double boss push? It can be very powerful. Your opponents cannot fight against it. And seeing them all tap, it looks like they may actually want to push here with nope, they're actually starting to move up to the middle lane. They'll soak that up, and then it looks like they may go for the boss.
Yeah, they really don't want to lose any more ammo on the towers than needed so that their lanes can continue to kind of take care of themselves here. So they're just going to quickly clear that up while heading up to the other boss. This boss is going down fairly quickly, but Relics are clear down here in the bottom at their keep structure, so it will take quite a bit to rotate up, but compLexity moving fairly slowly, just really starting to get into position here. They have the Hunter's Mark to try to take it out, but Relics might still be able to get here in time.
Yeah, Trummel actually isn't here. He's starting to move his way from the middle lane to the top right, but with a scout there from Toronto on Hans, you're going to be able to see the members coming in. They turn around for an engagement. York with Marks of Black King does hit 1 member, 7-sided strike, although pretty good on one-on-one situations. Not the great, the best of groups. We see the ultimate evolution taken down there on Abathur. We do have a Nubrak in trouble. Revenant, can you get away? Do you have Burrow Charge? No, he is taken down. 1 member falling for the Relics. We do have Balla actually off her mount as well. She's low on HP and low on mana. And now, with the compLexity team low on HP, they might not be able to do boss. They're going to pull back, heal up, and take their winnings.
All right, so we might not have Hyperion into Cindergosa, but we do have Hyperion into Starfall, and that is terrifying too because it's very difficult to try to get out of the Hyperion, which is what you need to do when you're slowed by the Starfall. So really cool to see that very big area damage coming out and being able to really zone using both of those abilities. compLexity now going to heal up and potentially not go after the boss now that we've got a tribute spawning out. It looks like they're changing direction a little bit, so we will most likely see a contest here at the boss, or at the tribute, as Relics are not quite underneath in terms of talents. They're caught back up for now.
Yeah, right now you're going to see the compLexity team have a couple members try and maybe delay this tribute if anyone moves over there, because we do have Arthas grabbing the Giants, get pressure on that bottom lane. So you're going to see Jaximus, the Owl, just try to walk in, do a little bit of damage. Finally, though, Arthas is showing up. And compLexity, near level 16, can potentially go in for a fight. They're looking for some kind of engagement. They're looking for the potential engagement on a Nubrak. He's been the target every single time. Looks like a huge 7-sided strike does knock down Arthas to half health. Divine Shield comes in at the last second, is going to be able to help with the damage.
Yeah, Divine Shield really good to stop that 7-sided strike. Is absolutely needed there because if they could keep their warriors, their front line alive through that 7-sided strike, the Relics lose a lot of their big play here. compLexity getting dangerously close to 16 for Relics here. Lunar Flare on top of a maneuver rack. Revenant throws back the Impale, trying to zone back away, but Mirr so incredibly low. The Pierce nearly takes him out. He's just barely staying alive. Radiant Dash helps with the heals there, but a maneuver rack will fall instead.
Oh, you gotta feel bad for Revenant, man. He keeps using his burrow charge to get in situations where he can help out his team with the healing, but he keeps getting picked off. The moment that ability has been used and they're able to sidestep the Veil compLexity, they just go straight for him every single time. And once a Nubra's taken out and Johanna's low on HP, this team has nothing for the engagement.
There's the Sentinel half health already, as we did have the pickup on Ranger there for it. But now that is the nice thing that Relics do have going for them, is even when they get into those fights, they have Abathur pushing in another lane, and because this battleground is so large, he really can get a lot of split pushing done before any rotation can come up for compLexity. So they were able to at least get a 4 down. They're getting closer to 16, but it's not here yet, and compLexity are going to put more pressure on with a boss.
Oh no, Ball in trouble. Just kidding. It's an ultimate evolution. However, they do not want to lose that on experience, and that experience will go to compLexity, so that will allow Abathur to get back to pushing into lanes. But unfortunate to lose that experience. He just wanted to be there and try and delay, but compLexity was already down to about a quarter health on that golem, and Johanna couldn't show up in time.
Now this is really good because compLexity have forced Relics into a situation, defend the boss, or go after this tribute here. There is a blessed shield into a 7-sided strike. Cattle getting low, but once again, the heals are going to be enough to keep him alive. Seems like it only works on the Skeleton King, not so much the Lich King.
Yeah, Arthas, one, can heal himself with Death Coil, and two, he already has support from Tyrande and Uther to heal that out. They're using 2 heroics to try and land down on Arthas, and they're never getting the kills here. So now suddenly Relics getting pushed into the top lane, have 2 major heroics that are down for a good 30 seconds, so they can really go for a major engagement unless compLexity goes a little too ham.
Yeah, they're already going to be able to pick up a lot of experience just from getting these towers here. And though the boss goes down, Howling Blast is on top of Revenant. He does burrow out of the Lunar Flare, though. Here comes the Hyperion on top of everyone, zoning away, potentially to go back in, or at least to just get Relics off of him long enough for compLexity to get away safely.
That Battlecruiser will get a little damage on that keep. Giants being grabbed as well to help supplement this push. Could this be the engagement that the Relics want? They did just hit 16. If they can maybe get to the back of Raynor. Here comes Johanna running on in. She gets stunned immediately. A 4-man pull is pretty nice here. One member low on HP. March the Black King, though, will heal help up. Arthas going straight for Mirr, trying to apply the damage. Zeys coming back to try and help. There goes 7-sided strike. It does some damage. Members low, but no, a new wreck will be the first hero fall in this fight. Mirr is forced to actually run away. Cattle trying to get in there. He hits the healing blast, and Jimmy with the last second hit. The keep here could potentially be in trouble, but with the tribute spawning, they're going to run down and try and grab that instead.
Trinity is here, though, deep toned in, but no.
Yeah, he's
realizing that the rest of the... So much damage to Abathur, just trying to get away at this point now. Will the chase happen? It seems like compLexity might just be content to pick this up and look at the next boss already, which is available.
Trying to have it out? Can she get it? No. Pull down just a little bit too long there. They will grab this tribute, and you are right, Gilly. The curse will be going on top of the Relics. Now, compLexity has a couple of options here. They're going to go ahead and back and heal up. They may instead, with this push happening, maybe go for some mercenary camps. I believe the bottom left golem is up and available. Yes, it is. They might go grab the golem instead of actually going for a major push.
Yeah, the lanes are not super pushed here, and they don't have that talent advantage. So they might just try to help them out as long as possible, but get the boss and then move in with the boss at the end of the curse, hoping to pick up that keep, because they know that Relics really have to be watching all of their lanes, because they can't afford to just willy-nilly lose a keep to a minion push.
I like the decision here. They are ahead. They know that they have momentum, so they went ahead and did a couple of tests. They put a little bit of pressure on the bottom lane. They sent a couple of owls in the middle lane just to find out where the positioning was for the Relics. Once they found out they were pretty spread out and kind of focused on trying to soak, they went ahead and went straight for the golem. Great decision making by them. Now, will it pay off? The golem low on HP. We have all the members here for the Relics running on in. We do have Johanna potentially getting on top of this mercenary camp. Cattle trying to hold it down. There goes a nice Luna Flare on a new wreck. He's low on HP. Trinity trying to apply damage to Trummel as well. 7-sided strike does go down, but Cattle holds the mercenary camp. 2 members already down for the Relics, and Jaximus wants to chase.
Taking down Johanna was absolutely key there, and let's not forget that Raynor not only has Giant Killer, but Berserk, which really helps that out even though Johanna does have imposing presence, they were able to make it work and get her off of that cap point. Leoric even using the March of the Black King there just to stay alive, knowing that they had 2 warriors on top of the cap point to just the Johanna of Relics.
This is a dead keep for sure. The question is, do they go for the core? 20 seconds until Karazim is up, as well as the other member on the team. So here we go, the bushing happening, walking forward. Jaximus even uses his Wraith Walk to get closer quicker. Starts going ham on the core here, low on HP. Member spawning in 10 seconds. Will Relics be able to defend this? It's not looking like it. 50%, 40%, 30%, 20%. Game number 1 is going to go to compLexity as they take out the Relics in the first match.
What a commanding first game for compLexity. Absolutely great. Realizing that they most likely see that Karazim play and knowing just how to counter it with the double support and the warriors who can help heal themselves up. Really, it was just that one time with Leoric and they adapted so quickly in the game.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. The Blessed Shield into the 7-sided strike combo took out so many teams, but if you get just a couple of heals out there, you could totally get your teammate back up. And the Death Coil was very brilliant as well, as using Death Coil on himself or to disrupt any type of mounting. That's all Arthas did that entire game. So great play by them, but I want to hear more for Kubi. Kubi, what'd you think of that game?
Yeah, it was very, very good points you guys bring up. Having that Army of the Dead to really get that sustain, the March of the Black King from Leoric, everything they went, they probably knew the probability that Karazim could get picked from Relics, but they had a lot of counter strategies in mind, especially with the Divine Shields. The plays were really great. One of the highlights that I want to bring you guys is a really good rotation after this first curse hit. Okay, so this is actually a really fun rotation on the bottom lane. So keep in mind, we have compLexity at this point. They have taken the curse. They've made a great rotation on the offensive side of the map. They move down here, get a really, really exciting takedown on this Abathur. Now, there's a couple things that happen from this play. They know that Arthas is really out of position. If you guys can take a look at the mini-map in the bottom side, right now, with this, they're kind of trying to do 2 things. compLexity wants to take the offensive Night Camp, and they also want to take out Abathur. They get the Abathur. We're going to go ahead and advance this just a little bit, so we get this really, really close takedown onto the Abathur that rotate back up here, and this is where we see Relics actually making a really nice play with the 7-sided strike, but those counter plays that I was talking about with this Divine Shield at the last second, the March of the Black King going in, everything about the positioning was really, really strong. They weren't able to get enough value out of that 7-sided strike, so we advance it a little bit. Relics does manage to take the cap, but since all of their cards have been played at this point, they get additional takedowns. A very nice rotation on the bottom side from Trummel. They move forward. These types of plays were able to catapult into a really strong victory.
Awesome. Thank you for the insight, Kubi. Wonderfully done by the team. The compLexity, Relics, of course, having a very fun strategy, but they may have to adjust it going into game number 2. So, game number 2, will compLexity take it 2-0, or will we see Relics make a comeback and take it to a game 3? We'll find out after the commercial break.
Our team captain has brought us together from all walks of life. Without him, we probably won't meet each other.
Our team captain is somewhat like a founder. Without him, we would never have formed a team together.
I think the biggest challenge as a team captain is to find time for everyone to play together, because all of us have different commitments, different schedules, and it's quite hard to get everyone together to play.
Our captain takes most of the time to do all the admin stuff. Although it doesn't sound important, but I think that's one of the most important things, because it clears a lot of time out for us to train more.
I think a team captain has to be the one that leads his team, or he has to be the one that keeps the team's morale high.
Everyone has to be able to take loss well. A team that wouldn't be able to communicate with each other. Our team captain, including us, we have a lot of mutual respect for each other, so we will try to iron out any issues that we have after the game.
I like to think that I do something important on the team, but I'm not really sure what it is.
I would say that our team captain Blinks is pretty much the most mature one on the team, even though he can be the most immature one at sometimes. But when it comes down to get serious and like we need to practice, we need to prepare, like Blinks is always there.
He's the one who's keeping us in line.
I think I'm the one that needs to be serious when people maybe don't want to be serious, and I need to be there to deal with the things that people don't want to deal with.
As a melee assassin player and Blinks as a support player, his job is to just save me all the time. So I'm like always glad that he's there for me.
He just gives us the drive to become better players and better teammates for each other.
As the team captain, I have to take that extra step and just make sure that I'm doing it, make sure my team's doing it, and I guess kind of set an example, but I don't think I need to because they're all great guys.
Welcome back to the Heroes of the Storm America's Championship.
We have had a great start to the day. I mean, first of all, we kind of primed them saying these two teams, they played their hearts out yesterday, and then we got Kerosene, we got some cool plays, but in the end, compLexity does win out in game 1.
Yeah, there is such a cool story going on here, though, Chobra, because I'm seeing tweets from the Australian region. They're saying, all right, our team's out, but we're going to root for that 1-4 and hope. We're going to root for Relics. So there are people coming up behind Relics saying, we still believe. Do you think there's a chance, right?
I mean, it's possible, but that doesn't mean compLexity is quiet. Of course, they have a pretty big fan base right here in North America. So it's time to find out, can Relics bring it back in game 2, or do you think compLexity is just going to continue? Let's find out on the desk with our commentators.
Thank you, Anna and Chobra. Welcome back, guys. I am Trixer. With me is Gilly Reed. Gilly, what do you think of game number 1?
Game number 1 looked pretty commanding, Trixler. Relics are going to have to find a different, secret strat, do something else, because I think the age of Kharazim is sadly found its end.
Kubi, what are you thinking over there, man?
Something interesting we saw in one of the drafts from Relics the other day was baiting the enemy team into taking something that was sort of stun reliant. We saw that they wanted to go for the Ravenous Spirit, and they were able to sort of bait them into drafting it and then grabbing that triple warrior composition. So they need to try to play a little bit more mind games during the drafts to really get what they want. They were so close with that last one, but the counterplay was just on point from compLexity.
Yeah, compLexity having great baits in game number 1, but going into game number 2, the Relics are all about adapting and changing up things as they need to. So in game number 2, we'll have to see how they adjust as the draft will be starting pretty soon.
And I think it's actually ready, so we should definitely hop into it and see what they're going to pick as we're going to our brand new battleground. Once again, it's in the Infernal Shrines.
All right.
Oh, yes.
So the Infernal Shrines, you guys are not familiar. It's a 3-lane map, first of all, and there are 3 shrines that appear just above each of those lanes. When they are activated, we'll see minions pop up. You need to take 30 of them down. You have to get the last hit on those minions. If you are able to accomplish that task, then you will summon a Punisher. It is indeed a Punisher at that, and it will go after the heroes. It will hop over walls and stun. Quite scary, so you will see the teams cowering in fear from those Punishers.
Not only are they Punishers, there are 3 different variations. You have the Arcane, the Frozen, the Mortar, and they're all different in how you actually deal with them, so it can be very, very deadly. You definitely want them on your side of the team whenever you're playing this match.
And you really don't want to get a lot of melee because it makes it very difficult to defend those, but you also need to have a lot of wave clear to make sure that you can take out those shrines as fast as possible. But we have already started the draft. We have Leoric and Uther being banned here. compLexity actually banning Uther, realizing the power. That's their favorite support. So the ban here means there is no way they want to let Relics play him.
All right, so Relics taking out that Leoric, like you mentioned, Gilly, and we really want to highlight this, how important Leoric is on this battleground because of that wave clear, and being able to take out those minions in a single strike with the Skeleton Blow is a very, very nice asset to have. compLexity grabs that Jaina. They're showing they're very strong on this hero, but Relics battling back with the Johanna. Also, if you grab that Knight Takes Pawn talent at level 1, can clear out the minions very quickly as well.
Yeah, compLexity on their side, they had, looks like Kharazim will be picked up once again, so the Relics are going to adjust their strategy here and try to get something to work out for them. compLexity on their first pick, they most likely were thinking about either Zeratul or Jaina. Which one do we pick here? Jaina's a little bit of an easier pickup here. You're able to get the damage in. You don't have to you can actually fight if you need to around the shrines. But with Zeratul being open on the second wave coming back to compLexity, you have to wonder, are they going to take it?
I really think they might. Jaximus really loves to play that hero, but I like the Relics pickup still of Kharazim here because compLexity also have been trying out the Kharazim a little bit. So if Relics, if that's they're saying we can't have Uther, we definitely want to have Kharazim here. I like that they're still willing to run it and think that they can adapt their strategy just to be able to take out compLexity with him still.
complexity firing back with one of their favorite warriors. It is going to be the Arthas in this case. And right there, those two heroes alone make for a great roam squad. And then you're going to add Tyrande into it, a hero that complexity is very fluent in running those types of rotations throughout. So they're going to really take the aggressive style. They say, all right, we've kind of given up a little bit on the wave clear, having, you know, the Liark already banned out. The Johanna's been picked up. They say, we're just going to be so aggressive when those objectives pop up, bully them off of it, take takedowns, and then move back and take the wave clear.
The best part about complexity having Tyrande is they just seem to understand or have the concept of, if we can control the map, we can beat the Relics. And they've been doing such a good job with Sentinel scouting certain areas, grabbing certain important map objectives, and really holding it down. Does Tyrande fall off a little bit on this battleground? I think so, but there's still are mercenary camps that you have to keep an eye on and really keep a tempo on how Relics are trying to fight back in terms of map control.
Well, the next drafts have come in, and a very interesting one coming in from Relics is they're going to ban Raynor. So they see the Tyrande, and they're like, you cannot have the Hyperion on top of that. That was too much to deal with. It's a really good, I guess, a counter pick, or counter ban there, I should say. Kael'thas going to be the ban for complexity.
So Kael'thas being taken out, while a strong hero, Relics really haven't shown that they want to pick it that much, but Vala, we know this is a comfort pick. I wonder why complexity went for that, with the exception of the fact that the wave clear is good, especially past level 13 with that chain bomb.
To be fair, in the North American regional, a lot of players don't think that, or a lot of teams don't think that Vala is actually that good of a hero compared to other ones, right? They think she's pretty right in the middle, 50%, and they can deal with her pretty well if they have good positioning. So I believe there's like, you know what, Relics, you can have that hero, no big deal. We'll deal with other type of strategies that you're trying to throw our way.
Yeah, getting rid of the wave clear for one, but also if complexity wanted to go for another frontline hero, then the more melees that you get, the more difficult Kael'thas can be with that chain bomb to try to deal with. Relic's going to grab the Zeratul. It's so interesting, so late in the draft, but we will still have the Dark Prelate, this time on the side of Relics.
I wonder if they are continuing to go with the 7-sided strike. Maybe you can make an argument for the Divine Palm here if Zeratul finds himself in a bit of trouble. And already they've set themselves up to not really pick a super heavy warrior lineup like we have seen out of them in the past.
Complexity gonna have a couple of picks here, and you have to wonder what they're gonna go with. Malfurion is a great choice against Zeratul. Zeratul will bring in that burst damage, but he can't really follow up a lot of kills without the support of his team. So Malfurion, if he stays on top of the healing, keep people topped off in terms of their health pools, they won't have a problem dealing with Zeratul. And plus, that tranquility is so helpful around the shrines.
Now, what will their last pickup be? Could be another warrior. It will be another warrior. It's going to be Rexar, and don't forget Misha.
That's right, how could I? Yes, those two are an excellent pair, and we saw a little bit of the play yesterday. I even think it was from complexity that they ran it to great effect. Some great showings there. Really, really fun hero, and it's just the sort of the different warrior style, right? It's a ranged warrior, and you have Misha doing a lot of the heavy lifting, if you will, getting those stuns, getting in there, and Rexar sitting in the back healing with those ranged attacks. So a very different approach, works out well to throw a lot of damage down, and continue this aggressive style that they have with Tyrande. Arthas, Jaina can set up so many different ways for that. I'd be scared if I were Relics right now.
Yeah, Misha charge into a Tyrande Alana pair is amazing. Sonya, though, following up with a fit pick here for Relics. Will we get the lead? Oh, we can see the amazing Wrath. Wrath can get rid of Misha so quickly. So you can move forward and get towards that Arthas and the rest of the heroes. So Relics finishing up their composition. Both teams looking very great here. I don't know if there's one side that I can pick. Gilly, who do you pick here?
Ooh, it's tough, but I really want a game number 3, so I'm going to be rooting for Relics here. I'm changing sides just for a bit.
Yeah, I always have to root for Sonya, so that's, don't even ask me. It's just going to be Sonya every time. And the interesting thing about it is, too, Arthas, no stuns in this warrior. Rexar, if they're able to stay out of the way of Misha with Sonya and the Wrath of the Berserker, like you guys were mentioning, it's basically going down to Lunar Flare, a skill shot that can be easily avoided. So there's definitely, if the Sonya players are good, which we know in the case of Relics that is going to be the case, I think we have a good chance for Sonya to really get in that back line and do a massive amount of damage.
All right, guys, game number 2 coming at you. Relics versus complexity. Let's go into the game. Okay, here we are. Relics potentially their last game of the entire tournament if they can't pull out a win here. Here on the far left corner, Relyzer, Trinity, Mirr, Zeys, and then of course Revenant ready to brawl it out against complexity.
Their opponents in the red looking to tie out the series right here and move on to the final 4 teams. We have Jaximus playing Rexar, Hans once again on Tyrande, cattlepillar playing Arthas, Trummel playing Jaina, and Blinks will be on Malfurion, making the team of compLexity.
All right, Misha and her companion Rexar start moving towards the middle of the map here. Beautiful green skin, by the way, looking great there. Jaximus gonna try and grab the control up here in the top left corner, and the #1 talent actually grabbed here for Rexar is going to be the health regeneration talent there. So he's gonna be looking around, trying to grab as many regen globes if possible to keep Rexar nice and healthy and having a strong regen base.
And it looks like we have Malfurion up top, so we might not see compLexity be as aggressive here in the mid since all of Relics are there, but they'll be looking to try to pick somebody up here. Misha going to be condemned in and immediately start going on the chase there, but once again, we're just going to see the teams going for trying to clear out the mid as quickly as possible. We already see Relics starting to rotate around and get into the lane so that they're not missing up any of the soak.
So I'm going to watch Jaximus here because he's been talking about how strong he's been working on Rexar a lot, and I've been hearing from Coach Rojar that he actually has amazing control when it comes down to actually playing that hero. So I'm all about learning and seeing what exactly you can pull off Misha whenever you're having that pet AI kind of playing around, how you can make it work better for you and your team.
Yeah, you mentioned the pet AI, and it's not like Lost Vikings here. It's not where you just click on Misha and then control where she goes while at the same time with Rexar. It is the pet AI, and so that does bring a different level of skill into it. And Jaximus, like you mentioned, has been working really hard here, and I'm also just as anxious to see how he does with it.
And throughout the game, Jaximus will have to be careful of their tool. If Rexar is taken down, Misha goes down as well. And the top lane, we have a little bit of aggression here from Trummel. Interesting to see a Jaina going for the gank, but hey, you gotta love seeing aggressive play from anyone here. In the middle lane, though, they're already setting up for the shrines. They grab this Punisher. We do only have one member here for Relics, and they're gonna wait until everyone can move on down to grab these minions.
And we see, it looks like Relics might be trying to deny Malfurion from coming down and joining the rest of the team a little bit, as the positioning of them are kind of right in between there, and they're actually waiting for it. Blink's gonna get caught out here, and Tangling Boots trying to stop them. Will they be able to catch him in time? He does get the heal back up. A great save there for compLexity.
Blink's just barely surviving there with a heal on himself. The heal over time just enough. He will have to go back and tap well. And you're gonna see the Relics try to grab as much as they can, but Malfurion will be the #1 focus here for the Relics. You take out that healer, you really break down this comp. Jaximus moving in, Misha trying to grab a grab here on Mirr. Can he get the Misha charm? We do have one takedown as Jaina falls for compLexity, and the members of compLexity will have to pull back, potentially poke, and wait till Jaina shows up.
And in that amount of time, Relics have plenty of time and do have that Knight Takes Pawn talent, so they're quickly taking out the minions here. This is the Arcane Punisher too, so this thing's going to do a lot of damage and be very scary to whatever team has to defend versus it.
Misha coming in with the Misha charge, taking out Mirr, slowing him down for a little bit there. We do have a lot of flanking going on between Cattle and Trummel, trying to get in there and grab some aggression if possible. Mirr still low on HP, but the Relics doing a great job of getting as many minutes as possible. They're currently at 27, but compLexity starting to fight back. Trummel trying to hold down that bottom area. Zeratul moving on in. Trinity gets low on HP. Can they grab the actual Arcane? It's low, and it looks like compLexity somehow, some way, is actually going to get the Punisher to move for them.
And it's actually a frozen one, so I was wrong. He will be trying to freeze up Relics, but man, a really fantastic job by compLexity there. They were down in the amount of minions that they had taken out, but such good zoning, forcing Relics to really like sacrifice themselves to try to get it, and they didn't even get it on top of that as they lost Sonya.
So what's interesting to me with the Arcane is how teams are utilizing it to their advantage. We're starting to see a lot of 3 pushes wherever the Punisher is at one member in flame. We have Rexar on the bottom, we have Malfurion on top. The first Punisher gets killed off pretty quickly if you do some great baiting like Relics just did there. So overall, walls were taken down. That's a great win for compLexity because they're ahead in experience. But overall, Relics are still in this game. They just need to try and maybe get a couple takedowns and get to level 10 as soon as possible.
Now immediately after a Punisher, teams typically like to go and start grabbing Mirr camp, so that's why we saw compLexity rotating around already, looking to see if Relics were working on this Fallen Shaman camp. But they're just now, actually, it's compLexity here who is grabbing the Kagura on the side of Relics camp. So realizing that wasn't quite there, now they see it here. They even could rotate up as it's not going down very quickly.
Yeah, that's one of the strengths here of having, again, Tyrande on the map. You're able to send Sentinels in the top left corner. We saw them look for Vala and Kerosene. As soon as they saw 2 members in the top lane, they went ham on that mercenary camp. They grabbed it and got it pushing. You're right. The map control is so important here for compLexity, and right now they're pulling it off well in the early game. Relics, however, need to get a little bit aggressive with the rotations, in my opinion. Start finding out where their opponents are at. They see only 3 people on the map. You need to look where the other 2 are. Start getting a little aggressive with whatever you can. Have Joanna check out a bush. Zeratul needs to start also rotating.
Absolutely, and make sure they're not missing out on the lane. So I think compLexity has been very good in that aspect. And while we have it 1-1, we do have the fact that with the 2 tower takedowns for compLexity, as well as, Trummel's in trouble here, but their lane soak has been helping them so far. But this might be a chance for Relics to get back in a little bit and experience they will be able to get the takedown on Jaina.
Quick pick down, and that's the rotation that I was talking about. Nicely done there by Relyzer, especially with the Shrine potentially coming up in the next 15 seconds. It's a great pick-off that allows them to get positioning on top of the Shrine, so compLexity has a harder time getting into that area to start a fight.
Now Jaina has picked up the Frost armor, so that's going to help a lot with the Zeratul. You always see that pickup when you see a Jaina versus a Zeratul here. Level 7 talents being picked up on both sides, and already you see the power of Johanna in these shrines. compLexity need to get in there and take down Relics. That is the purpose of their composition. They can't take down those minions as fast, so they need to push Relics off of the shrine.
Jaximus shows up, the bear starts charging forward, trying to find a position where she gets damage, and Misha, there we go, starting to get ready for a stun, get some auto attacks there on Revenant. We do have Mirr in the top left corner, trying to come in behind, wants to get on top of Trummel if possible. Start spinning to win there. Revenant, though, low on health points. Once again, Trinity there, but Jaina does get picked off. compLexity, however, have applied a decent amount of damage here and could potentially take this fight if they don't go back and hit the well. However, Revenant now starting to heal up. Here comes Rux, starting back forward, and it looks like they can get Cattle. They're trying to. They're running for him. Zeys bringing in the auto attacks as well. Jaximus low on HP. Can the multi-auto attack get it? No! We're going to have members barely pull away, but Relics actually lose out on the Punisher as compLexity tried their best to kill off all 30 minions.
Yeah, man, but they lost Malfury in there. They lost Jaina earlier on too. Jaina was trying really hard to go for the chase. The greed was a little bit real in how low Johanna was, but Johanna is a tricky one to take down.
But it's definitely worth there. I would definitely type in all chat if all chat existed. Worth there in that situation. And you lose 2 members, but you get the huge Punisher. It starts pushing the top lane, getting damage on top of the wall, and that allows the 3 members that just spawned to actually run down to the bottom right, grab Mercenary Camp, Revenant in trouble, using that unstoppable force to be able to get him away. But we will come down here and try and soak this up. But compLexity, a little over halfway to level 10. If they get this fort, they'll be in such a prime position to start teamfights soon.
It's an absolutely fantastic rotation here, but it does leave Jaximus a little bit exposed, and we talked about it before with Zeratul. This is really bad. He will go down, and Misha cannot stand without Rexar.
Good pick up there for the Relics, starting to fight back the underdog, not wanting to go out of this match without a fight. However, compLexity a couple seconds away from getting 10 with the Mercenary Camps and a little bit of soak. They will definitely get it. Relics, though, are closer than you would think. The next shrine should be up after they get level 10.
And fantastic just battleground sense here from Hans, knowing exactly where compLexity is and sending out the Sentinel just to confirm, just by knowing what that they're not on the battleground and the fact of knowing what objectives are up. So great job there. Unfortunately, it wasn't close enough to be able to rotate and pick it up, so it's something they have to clear. Heroic abilities coming in. We do have Unleash the Boars for Rexar, as well as Starfall. Army of the Dead will be for Arthas. And then we have Ring of Frost being picked up here by Jaina. We're seeing that more and more.
Yeah, the Ring of Frost actually becomes a little bit easier to hit with Unleash the Boars, slowing down a few members. Also, it's a great disengage as well. Mirr moving forward as well as Revenant. And what are you cheering for? Oh, I see it. Yes, that's right. Leap has been picked here for the Relics. They are going out with some explosions of sound here as UA will be available for them. They need to make sure that they land that bad boy, get a couple of hits here. Johanna follows up, and you can obliterate a team if you're able to get the synergy to work out for you.
Yeah, man, the Leap into the Blessed Shield. We have Void Prison to either zone or to wait until they can get the rest of the members there if Zeratul sees an opportunity. And then Strafe right on top of that. You're right. And because they have to have battles around the shrine, it's the perfect opportunity for them to do it right here.
That is very true. So here we go into the middle of the map here. Oh no! A member does get picked off there immediately here. That will be the follow, so Strafe will not be available, which is a majority of the damage here for Relics. The Ring of Frost just barely misses, but the Bear does charge in, gets on top of Zeys. He's low on HP. Divine Pump does stasis him, though the follow-up Luna Flare will secure the kill. 2 people have been taken down. compLexity can move to the shrine and take it.
Holy moly, that Lunar Flare was dangerous.
That it was.
Man, even though they had the Divine Palm and it did proc, they still were able to take out Karzim so fast. I was just going to commend Zeys, though, because he was able to Radiant Dash just over the Ring of Frost. I thought maybe he was safe, but no, just not quite. Trunda not letting him get away.
And I'm so proud of Hans' play. Immediately after that happened, they waited about 5 to 10 seconds and scouted the Mercenary Camps in the top left corner with the Sentinel, just trying to always be a step ahead. Where are the Rogues going to go from here? Are they going to sit and wait for the defense? Or are they going to try and sneak a Mercenary Camp instead? And he just knows all the information. Information is so valuable. Relyzer, though, coming at the point, but gonna go down. Who will it hit? Boom! Hitting 2 members. Arthas in trouble. Blinks in trouble as well. Cattle trying to run away, but the Strafe hits all of the health points down. Cattle trying to run away. Will barely get out of the fight, and Misha there to show up as well to help out, but God, you gotta love that combo.
The jump Frozen the leaf on top of the Void Prism. That was awesome. Now we see the power of Relics combination. If they can just get caught back up here, they've already been able to clear out the Punisher. They protected their fort. They need to get some pressure in. They need to soak the lanes because they are going to be up behind a talent tier. I'm ready to see that combo more and more, Trixler.
I gotta agree with you, and the Relics just barely behind here as complexity's about to hit 13, but in a situation where they can totally win team fights. In terms of map control, they are behind because they have lost 1 fort in the bottom, but it's not something you cannot fight back from, right? All they gotta do is have great rotations, be at the next shrine in time, and make sure to hit that wonderful Void Prism UA combo of more than 2 to 3 members, and they can totally make things happen.
Relentless pickup here for Arthas, so trying to be able to deal with some of the crowd control that Relics do have. They are ahead and they're trying desperately to maybe pick someone up, but more importantly, they just keep their lanes clear. They know they're ahead in terms of the battleground control. Like you said, they still have all of their forts up, but they want to keep it that way, so they're going to work really hard to make sure lanes are always pushing in, clearing out mercenary camps very quickly if Relics do get to pick up here.
Cattle trying to give it a potential takedown here. There's only a couple of shots of ammo actually in this fort, so we knew they have to start running forward. The 2 ammo have been extended, and they're going to go ahead and get rid of that fort. So 2 forts are now down for complexity, almost a full level ahead here in terms of experience. They're getting all the lanes pushed out as well. Everyone's preparing for this next shrine.
Void Prison is just now up. Army of the Dead almost there, immediately used, but it does not catch anybody, and that is a huge, huge win for complexity because that's a very long cooldown.
So unfortunate. He only hit a couple of minions now. Relyzer in trouble. Divine Palm potentially being wasted as well. Trinity in trouble. Strafe is going to be popped, but Trinity low on HP gets picked up by the Ring of Frost in Trummels combo, a Cone of Cold. Revenant in trouble as well. There goes Malfear trying to get stuck with the roots, but unfortunately not enough. 3 members only up here for Relics. Shrine activating in 10 seconds. Complexity going for a wall.
That Shrink Ray from Hans on Tyrande on Baller was so perfect. She was just about to get away from that fight, but no, it stopped her movement speed so that she was able to she hit that Ring of Frost and bam, she went down so fast.
And this will be an Arcane Punisher here for complexity if they're able to secure it. Johanna already moving up there, but now 10 of those minions already picked up. Revenant in the middle lane. We do have Karazim doing in the mid lane as well. So it looks like Relics is going to give this up. They realize, you know what, we can't run into a situation and go into a meat grinder, right? We're going to get picked off. They're 2 levels ahead. They have better positioning. Let's soak. Let's get some experience, and we'll try and defend the top fort. If we get rid of it, whatever, it's no big deal. We'll live to fight for another day.
And you know what I love too is that complexity didn't even have everybody there. So they might have been able to actually contest, but they just weren't able to. They weren't sure where everyone was. So on top of that, complexity were also able to pick up their shaman here on top. So this is a very, very strong push top already. The Arcane Punisher, it is the toughest one. Relics have a ton of melee. They're having trouble dealing with these already. And on top of it, that shaman, this is a huge push.
Wow, so actually at level 16, you see a lot of Rexers pick up Feign Death. We actually had a floating presence for Misha, by the way, which will actually slow down auto tech, which is great against Walla, great against Zeratul. Zeratul does give it a situation to do that, as well as a build here for Sonya. Sonya's gone for a major auto attack damage heavy build. Now suddenly if she gets into a fight, her auto attack will be reduced for a little bit. Great pickup here by Rexar, and a bit of a small change that will definitely win you games if you make those changes.
Absolutely. We also have entangling or tenacious roots for Malfurion too. So the fact that they're going to be able to throw those from a safe distance and be able to root if a Punisher jumps in, they know that they can throw the roots down immediately underneath that and then combo off of it.
All right, Keep has been picked up. Nice pickup for complexity. Slowly but surely churning away and just kind of taking down the Relics very slowly in a very methodical way, if you will. The mid lane now has some pushing going in. The complexity will go ahead and come clear it up. And the Relics looks like they want to fight. They're constantly chasing down, looking for a situation where people are grouped up. But complexity is doing a really good job of constantly being spread out. The only ones that are ever super close together is Rexar and his companion, Nisha.
Yeah, Relics do have... Oh, there it is in the lead, but Jaximus gets eliminated. There goes Rexar. What I wanted to mention is that, but hold that thought, because we have a Howling Blast into entangling roots there. Iron Skin pops for Johanna. She's on the chart, so Cattle has to be very, very careful here. Lunar Flare going to be able to zone away, make sure that we have Arthas staying safe.
Good pickup there from Relics, picking off Rexar, gives them a nice amount of experience. They're that much closer to level 16, so they can fight complexity completely against 20. Ring of Frost does go down. Mercenary camp actually stolen here by Relics. Nice Void Prison. Will they go for the engage? Trummel actually a little bit out of position here, getting poked down, but this is a huge choke, and Arthas will hold chokes down down like no other, man. He's got all that ice, he's a big body. So that fight actually would work out for compLexity, so Relics decide to go ahead and pull back. They got a Ring of Frost cooldown, they grab Mercenary Camps instead.
Yeah, you never want to engage into a choke when you know you're going to be in that Frozen Tempest, because the longer you're in that, the more, obviously, more damage you take, but also the more slowed you will be, so it's more difficult to get away if you need to back on up. Now, Relics have picked up level 16 here, so they're on an even fight for the next shrine, which is activating in just 25 seconds.
Okay, compLexity is kind of caught onto the rhythm that Relics have been trying to grab minions whenever they can before shrines. So they're going to come in here and try and interrupt. Mirr in trouble. He does have Uwa, gets away. That's why it's the best heroic you're ever going to see in this game. Cat Element will be grabbing the Mercenary Camps. Misha trying to charge down Mirr, but with some jukes is able to get away. But the Mercenary Camps does go to compLexity. It will push the top lane, and they're going to run straight back to the shrines. Trummel though. However, the singularity spike does miss, and that means as Zeratul, you run away when you miss that W.
And I love that we have the top lane as being pushed from those mercenaries, because already keep down there. So compLexity are forcing Relics to say, do we defend? Do we let this push all the way our lane into the core, or do we defend versus this shrine and not let compLexity pick it up? We're going to have a battle.
Relics has to fight this. They want to get a Punisher if they can. We do have Mirr in trouble. Divine Palm goes up, but it's a little too early. It will get wasted. Ring of Frost is wasted as well, though, as well. It's right in the center of it, but the Punisher goes towards compLexity. Mirr being chased down. Misha stuns him up at the top left corner. We also have a member rooted here as Revenant is in trouble. Gets poked off with the Hunter's Mark. Will Mirr goes down as well. Rexar chase him down. Beautiful. Gets 3 kills overall here for compLexity, and they're starting to push down the middle lane with their Mortar Punisher.
I hope Rexar gives Misha a Scooby snack for that, because that was absolutely perfect. They got 3 takedowns now. Another keep going down. They're pushing with this this Punisher. Will this be game right here? Will compLexity move on from this push?
compLexity moving towards the core. Are they going to smork it up? Rexar is here as well. The Punisher chasing down as well. Zeys is forced to pull back. Relyzer in trouble. The core falling down to 90%, 80%. 10 seconds till anyone spawns to defend this. A huge amount of minions here. The Punisher and all compLexity. This is going to be game. compLexity takes the series 2-0. GG! Beautiful play by this team, so coordinated, so methodical, really keeping the map control. You really saw that Toronto Hans was so important. Of course, great control of the heroes and the teamwork was great, but I just want to say Hans, man, with that Toronto made so much happen just because of the information he grabbed for compLexity.
Man, I always love a really amazing Tyrande player, and I am totally a Hans fan after this series. Just absolutely insane play. But you know what? Also, Trixler, a lot of people always ask the question, will this hero be fantastic when a new hero comes out? I think they answered that right there with that game with Rexar.
For sure, it was. And again, you guys were mentioning the Toronto play, and the teamwork was amazing. Really, the strategy that they went for, we saw that even just opening up with the draft. They went into it and said, we don't have the wave player. We are going to bully them off of the objectives. And it worked really well in that early game to get the advantage they had. We're going to show you guys a quick replay, just showing some of the advantages that Rexar really has in the team fights. We see Relyzer kind of jump in. He misses that Void Prism and now finds himself in a very tricky spot. So we're going to go ahead and pause right here. The team realizes, Relics, of course, they realize that Relyzer's in a bad spot. They see that root's about to land. And the positioning for the rest of the team, they are looking to go in to make sure that they can save him, or at least try to go in and peel for him a little bit. This ends up kind of showing for a bit of a problem. We're going to open this up just a little bit more so I can show the positioning where the rest of the team is. And we have our star right here, Mr. Jaximus, and he is going to be throwing out that summon the boars, right? It is a huge area in which this ability goes out. It goes in this complete direction. It will hit any target that is visible at the point of casting it, right? So he's going to throw that out. And with this giant area, this will allow for the rest of compLexity to move in. There's so many slows, stuns. If you have all of those targets slowed, they are going to be prime targets for the Ring of Frost. We're going to go ahead and advance this just a little bit. We can see that play out. Relyzer gets hit by that. We see the Divine Palm, but they switch targets immediately. We see the slows from the Blizzard. Zeys getting tagged by this. The Ring of Frost, they were able to follow up. Another great Lunar Flare ends up getting Iron Skinned out, but they end up getting a bunch of kills picked off. A really, really great example of how Misha and Rexar are able to set up really, really great takedowns, especially with all the slows with the rest of the team.
Wow. You know, what I really liked about the Rexar and the Arthas too is before you would kind of see a Syndragosa pick up there in order to slow them down the same way. But now that because they have the Rexar, they can use the Boars, which means Arthas can be used as has the Army of the Dead. So he's able to be more of the tanky tank with that Army of the Dead and stay alive.
A very fun comp for compLexity, but you gotta give it up for the Relics. They came all the way out here and played some exciting games. They were the last team that were outside of North America to get this far. So congratulations to them. I can't wait to see more from them in the future, but compLexity will move forward.
Coming up in our next match, we will have Murloc Geniuses versus Cloud9 to see our final team in our 4 teams vying for spots to BlizzCon.
Let's go down to Anna to talk with the winning team.
Thank you. I'm here with Blinks, of course. You guys have just put another victory on the books. You must be feeling pretty good right now.
We feel great.
Now, you don't normally play against Relics as often as maybe some other teams. We saw some interesting drafts out of them. We saw Karazim both times. We saw Sonya. You let them have Zeratul in the second game. Was their draft surprising, or did you feel very prepared to take it on?
We felt very prepared, and we just kind of came in today wanting to play our own game, focusing on our own game, and that's what we did, and it paid off.
It sure did. And you also drafted Rexar, which of course we're interested in as one of the newer heroes in the game. What did that bring to your composition in game 2?
Rexar brings a lot of stuns, a lot of control, and he also is really good at clearing the shrines on Infernal Shrines. At level 7, if you take his Q talent, I think, he one-shots the minions, and as you saw, it was really, really strong.
It sure was. And now you will move on. You will play Tempo Storm. Are you just going to play your game there too? What are you going to do to make sure that you come out on top there?
Well, I think that any team in this tournament, if they weren't prepared to beat Cloud9 or Tempo Storm, they shouldn't have really been here. So we are prepared, we're ready to go, and I think we're going to show you guys some good games.
I think you are too. Thank you so much, Blinks. Congratulations. Guys, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with more heroes.
I think going into tournaments, our team everyone on average is just on such a high skill level that I feel like we don't have the weak links that cost other teams games, just because we're all confident that if we get into hairy situations, everyone knows how to play their way out.
When it comes to playing the game, we all contribute equally, I think, when it comes to the game.
Basically, we're all in it together. We all help each other out.
In this game especially, I feel like teamwork and synergy is so important because one player can't necessarily just carry the game because they got ahead, and I think that is actually one of our strengths. We all know how each other play, and it allows us to play better together.
Between us and Tempo, I think it's pretty clear that we have better gameplay, but they're definitely better than us strategically, and we've been working to get better at that.
We've been working a lot on figuring out exactly how fast you can close out a game and not overreaching and overextending and then, causing the flip.
I think the best part about a LAN experience is being able to just meet my teammates or hang out with them, because our team doesn't have a gaming house, and I think a majority of the teams here do. So it's just nice being able to see my teammates in real life and hang out with them more.
Nobody wants problems. Everyone just kind of relaxes and can talk about things. Nobody gets heated or super upset when things go wrong. Everyone just kind of is like, okay, do it better next time, that sort of stuff. I think that's the best part of this group, this team.